This is why I only stick the steroid-loaded cattle and chickens.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Dave Palumbo Podcast. Today I'm joined, as always, by John Romano and Lee Priest.
Heaven,
and Lee is having a religious experience right now.
Hi. I was still into the spirit of the show yesterday with all the religious talk and stuff. But I thought I was going to do the confessional show today early, but... But man, what happened to that show? We're getting into like some nice psychic readings and stuff, or just like, you know, your sister talking about stuff, and then Armand got on the Jesus train. I went, holy bloody hell! You can't believe in that if you believe in God. It says in the Bible. Also says in the Bible there's something about vanity. So maybe taking steroids and making your body look a certain way to get big and look at yourself in the mirror. If we're really going to go by the Bible, I think vanity, there's something about that in there too. So get off the gear, Armand. Stop training. Be a normal person.
It didn't make itself clear to me until later, but Harmon was upset.
Yeah.
And the reason he was because he believes, or his version of whatever he believes, was that what your sister was doing was wrong.
Right,
evil.
Right.
You know, and like he was upset over it. And I didn't figure it out until later, but that is what it is. He was visually not happy.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened was it's when someone believes something, and that he of course got red. That always happens, right? The non-believers are the ones who always get red.
But don't you think, Lee? You comment too. Do you think this is hypocritical? Because on the one hand, he's saying, you know, everybody should believe what they want. This is what I believe. Is my opinion, but I believe this. And then, okay, you believe that, and then I'm going to go ahead and believe this, but that makes you mad.
I know.
Well, how does that work?
Like those crazy vegans when they see you eating meat.
You know, speaking of vegans, have you noticed that a lot of vegans they have this whole like group of people now that were previously vegans and they're no longer vegans, and they're talking out against veganism and how they were taken captive by this whole idea, and it seemed cool, and you know, they did it, and it was like a fatty thing, and everyone hung out together and went to vegan restaurants, and then after a while, little by little, their health just declined, because basically you start cannibalizing all your muscle tissue, because you don't really hold on to lean muscle tissue with vegan protein, and they all eventually go back to eating meat at some point. It's crazy.
The same thing will happen with pronouns in a couple of years. It was all cool. It was cool to be they, them, it, X, Y, whatever fucking pronoun they want to be. But in the end, we all just went back to he and she.
That's right.
him and her.
Veganism was born online, so it's only fitting that it dies online. Yeah, because if there was no such thing as social media, there would be no such thing as vegans. There wouldn't be three of them to rub together.
Well,
so because we have social media, we have veganism. So now that veganism has run its course, it's been proven itself to be what we all said it was going to be. Now they're falling off the vegan bandwagon, and now we have the anti-vegans also on social media. So born on social media, die on social media.
The funny thing is the previous vegans who are no longer vegans anymore are more against veganism than anyone.
Right.
And it's funny, my ex-wife, Barbara, had called, she became a vegan, I don't know at what point, not while I was with her, but at some point, and she was all against, I think because she had one of her sons has got autism, and I think she thought that was going to help it. And she was an animal rights person, saving the animals. And she was really, all in on the veganism. And I told her, I said, I'm telling you, it's not good for you. I said, there's nothing wrong with you. At least eat some dairy. I said, and have some whey protein or eggs or something like that. Eggs. If you're against the killing of animals. So she's thinking, no. And then, so flash forward like 15 years, and she calls me up, like maybe this was about a year ago. And she's like, all right, you were right. So I'm not a vegan anymore. What should I eat?
Have you ever seen, there's an Australian girl, if you look up her Instagram, her name's Vegan Booty. And she's just been arrested again, but she goes around the restaurants, supermarkets, throwing red paint at everyone, just like.
Oh, real? She's a nutcase vegan.
Screams. Have a Google Vegan Booty on your Instagram. Okay. I mean, like, you talk about an out there lunatic that just. My comedian friend Isaac Butterfield always does videos about it, because I think she just got arrested because they're in some grocery store, and then she'll go into restaurants when people are eating, and this is genocide, this is a Holocaust, as all the chickens are on the rotisserie, it's a Holocaust of the chickens, and blah blah. And it's like you've never seen like
hold on. Vegan Booties is a site with a lot of women on it. I don't think that this is the same one.
Yours is plural. Lee's was singular.
Oh, you was singular? Hold on. Let me pull the page I got up. Is this
Booty.
it?
BOOTY. Vegan Booty.
Oh, Vegan Booty. Hold on. That's vegan. Yeah. Vegan Booties is a pretty hot site. So.
That's because the full force of veganism hasn't wrought its damage yet.
I was almost ready to follow that page. Is this her?
She got like brownish hair, and
this says Vegan Booty.
And a saggy ass. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But has it got it going off? That looks pretty normal for her. It must be on YouTube.
I think this is still a site with multiple women. I don't think it's all the same girl.
Vegan Booty. Vegan Booty, if you find them, maybe even go to YouTube.
Oh, maybe it's underscore. Hold on. Is it this lunatic? Hold on.
If there's videos of it going in restaurants.
I think it's this girl. Is it this girl? Vegan Booty _ Booty.
I can't really see, Dave. I'm on my phone. No, she looks too. No.
That's not her?
No.
Well, I gave you 14 versions of Vegan Booty already, and I don't know what else to look at here. Hold on.
You'd know her if it ever came up. I don't know why. She's probably under something else, but go on YouTube and put in Vegan Booty. There you go. If it's on YouTube, it'll be there.
Yeah.
How about the Vegan Booty? Is that maybe Vegan Beauty Queen?
No.
All right, I'm not looking anymore. You sure it's not this girl?
No, that looks too normal.
All right, too normal. I'm getting. I'm not that. I'm really not that interested in her. So.
Yeah, really. No.
It just pictures someone escaping from this asylum without their medication. It's like
well, if you want to talk about the effects of an asylum, then we can go back to the religious content we had yesterday.
So I sent you. So one of my clients, Josh Farrell, sent me I guess a quote from the Corinthian in the Bible, and it was basically saying that it's okay to have special abilities. It was like kind of contradicting. Let me see if I can find it. What's his name? Armand's quote that he gave.
But I thought in the Bible, weren't there sort of people in the Bible who could foresee different things?
Corinthians 12. In this passage, Paul lists the following spiritual. Let me just say. In this passage, Paul lists the following spiritual gifts: word of wisdom, word of knowledge, faith, gifts of healing, working of miracles, prophecy, distinguishing spirits, various kinds of tongues, and interpretation of tongues. So prophecy is one of them. So they're saying that, that's nothing wrong with that.
Didn't someone even have was it a vision, or you call it a prophecy, when they said the substance? Who were they talking to Jesus when they said, when the cock crows so many times, someone's going to betray you? Remember?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was God telling them that. That wasn't.
But I mean, how can you put it out? How can you dismiss something based on faith when it's so true? I mean, everything that Nicole said yesterday about my thing was absolutely fucking dead.
Even Armin, even when she brought up to Armin about, I see something about the cookies and that, then he just sort of laughed and said, yes, we used to give him the like THC cookies and he loved them. It's like, how would anything like that come up?
And the baseball, right? The baseball.
Well, a mean thing. I was crying. I mean, I don't know about you. I was crying. It was very emotional. I could tell how it was. He was. You know what? She called me up afterwards and she's like, you know what? And she didn't even know. I didn't even tell her about the whole legal issue he's dealing with. She's like, you know what? I meant to tell him something else. She's like, tell him he's not going to jail. I'm like, what? She didn't know anything about it. I said, no. Yeah, she said he's not going to jail. Wow. So I called him up and told him. I said, my sister said you're not going to jail, so don't worry about it.
That's the thing, because like religious people, I understand they have faith in that, and they believe there's this place they hopefully go. Like John said, I think you were saying that, they like to. A lot of people can't understand that once you die, that's it. Everything's over. They want to believe there's a greater place you're going or whatever. So it's like, to me, heaven and hell is what you make. But maybe there is a better place we go, and here where we are now is hell. Because if you get to there,
what if we're still here? What if once you leave your body, you're still in this realm, just in a different dimension? And so
that's the thing. Well, maybe like I said, there could be a heaven where everything is blissful and that. And once you get there, they say, no, you never learned your lesson. You're going back, and you're like, I don't want to go back, because in comparison, here could be hell compared to wherever.
Well, but think about it. We only see in like a very, very limited spectrum of light, what they call white light. There's infrared, there's gamma rays, there's other, we can't see it because our eyes can't detect it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. So there could be other stuff around us that we just are not conscious of, because it's
you mean not like really... we're in those if we get into dive deep into those videos of, are we in a simulation and different
let's assume we're not in a simulation. Let's assume we're in some sort of a dimensional physical being. When you leave your physical body, and you go back to a different dimensional, it can be right on top of where we are now, that just they can coexist, but you can't see it when you're in a physical body. We're limited by our eyes and what our eyes can detect and our five senses. But when you're not in that physical body anymore and you're out of it, you can see way more. And so, we're not privy to that. That's
like the movie Ghosts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Well, don't you think that our current consciousness is powered by something? There's some energy, right? That facilitates our awareness, our consciousness.
Right.
When we die, ostensibly, the body is the generator for that energy, and if the body dies, it stops generating the energy, and your spirit shuts off. So what if that energy can be shifted and handed off to another energy source at the moment we die?
Well, maybe, but you know what? Maybe you have it backwards. Maybe the spirit is the energy source that fuels the body. And when the body loses its functionality and it can't function anymore, then the energy source leaves it, and it goes on to something else.
It's funny you say that. I was watching a thing on YouTube, going down the YouTube hole. It was one of those ones on life after death, or out of body, when people die and come back, and they say they went to tunnel of lights.
Right.
They didn't. I forget what university it was. They had 5 people who were comatose. I mean, just kept alive on machines, brain dead. So they had all the stuff hooked to their brains. So the machine's pretty much keeping them alive. So they showed you all the brain waves down here. It's like when they're in the coma state, their brain is just the basic thing, just barely moving. It's all the reds down here. And then they turned the machines off. So now the body's fighting the whatever, keep itself alive. But then all of a sudden, for 5 minutes, the brain went past where it normally goes, and it went into the part of the brains that's used for communication, like as if you're talking to someone and doing something.
Wow.
All those bits lit up for like 5 minutes. So whatever happened once they were clinically dead in the brain for 5 minutes, it'd be like if they monitored us now and we're talking and I'm doing stuff.
Right.
The same bits lit up. So these people were dead, but for 5 minutes their brain
was activity still in the brain.
That communication thing, as if they were talking or doing something somewhere, and then after that they died. And then they also weighed the body, and at death the body lost weight. So
That's they say the soul weighs something. Yeah, they say they could actually measure that. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
But
very
it's weird the way the brain lit up there, because people always say when they do die, they can see someone and talk to someone, or they go walking somewhere. So that part of the brain, even though they're clinically dead for 5 minutes, that part of the brain was actually communicating, doing something. So.
Well, Jimmy, I had a conversation with Jimmy, a text conversation afterwards, because he was kind of almost agreeing with Armand, but then I sent him that quote, and then he said, well, yeah, I think that there's good, prophecy, and then there's bad prophecy. I agree with that. So he changed his whole tune. He's like, because before his mom passed, his mom said she talked to God. Like she had gone out of consciousness, then she woke up, and then she said, I spoke to God, and he gave me a message, and Jimmy's like, I believe it. I believe that she did, and he's like, that would be good prophecy. I said, right. I said, it's the context. I mean, if someone's delivering a good message to you versus an evil message, I mean, come on. I think you can decipher between the two.
It's not like you're getting the Ouija board out, conjuring up evil spirits or something.
Right. I don't think there's any greater evidence of a communication than the text I got yesterday afternoon during the show of the cover shot of me and Shelly on muscular development. Right. That's two-way communication right there. It's almost a phone call, right?
Yes. 100%.
Fucking
100%.
Crazy. Nuts.
Yeah, just for those people who didn't see the show, John got a reading that about Shelly Beatty, who was married to, and saying that this is true love, and that that she had there was something wrong with her, and that's what broke the relationship up. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets this text message from someone sent him the cover shot of him and Shelly. It was crazy.
Well, another interesting thing was that she said broken. And she said, I'm sorry that it was my fault because I was broken. And that's the exact term that she used to use. She used to say,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
And then the thing with the sign with the hands.
Yeah, my sister said, I feel like I'm talking to her with my hands rather than my voice. And then she didn't realize she was
that. At the end, she was saying that she was, that was pretty spot on when she said that. It's like she's not really talking. She's using her hands, not actually speaking.
Right.
So. About that.
That's what I mean. Like if people are so open to religion to believe that's what I don't understand. If you can have faith and believe a guy walked on water, someone parted the oceans, people marched around the wall, blowing trumpets, and the city collapsed, and a burning bush was talking. If you can believe all that, why couldn't you believe that someone could come to you with a positive message from a loved one that, it's like...
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I've had a few over the years psychics that have given me some pretty stuff that they could never have known. But it was all positive messages. You know what I mean? You could tell if someone's evil and someone's not evil. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to ask Nicole. Did she ever tell people bad news? Like, sorry, you got a tumor, you're going to die in 15 days.
No, but she's told people you should check this out or check that out because she doesn't. Oh. They don't tell her that type of stuff. They might say, I see something with your throat. You should go get checked out or something like that. She'll get stuff like that. I've seen her say messages like that. Check out something here or something like like when she said that she saw Shelly, she sees her not being able to breathe or something like that. And I didn't know
another. How about that? That was another one because she hung herself.
No one knew how she killed it. That she had hung herself. I didn't know that.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I've had a couple of other ones that were pretty good, but that yesterday was the most profound.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was speechless when she was saying
it affected me completely. I mean,
it's very. I think they're very healing when you get stuff like that. I've had people tell me stuff about my mother, talking to me, and I'm like, I mean, who doesn't want to have one more conversation with a loved one that passed? Sure. I mean, that's about as close as it gets. I mean, it's like. You don't even know what to say. You just you're paralyzed.
Yep, completely awestruck. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty insane.
What? Yeah,
I want to talk to her about some clarity on a couple other issues.
Yeah, you should do another a one-on-one with her, or you know what I was telling Jimmy, we should do a smaller group, have her come back on for another show, with a smaller group, me and you. Jimmy,
just do Jimmy, because if he's not the center of attention,
yeah, you're right. He's got to have his own show. You're right.
Yeah, he's got to have his own.
he can't handle without other people in the center of attention.
I thought he was going to start filing his nails yesterday when he was on the show. They were talking about me, and he's like,
yeah.
Not talking about me.
As he's getting older, too, he's less and less tolerant of other people talking. Yeah,
right.
If he's not the center of attention, we were saying that Jimmy doesn't like to not be the center of attention during stuff like that. You know,
because Dave wanted to do another reading show.
I'm like Jimmy now.
I said we should get Jimmy on with us, and then John's like, Jimmy's got to have his own show because he can't share the spotlight with anyone.
There was Aman. That's the funny thing. Aman was getting very. I saw it straight away. It's almost like you've conned me into this. He almost looked annoyed.
Yeah, he was visibly upset, right?
Yeah, he was actually rooting the thing for a meme.
It's like you brought me in. It's like you brought me into this witchcraft. If I had known this, I wouldn't have come on the show. That all of a sudden,
that's his belief system. So I can understand how he feels.
Yeah, but it's like,
I told him he knew she was coming on. So if he didn't like it, he should have sat the show out. You know what I mean?
I just want to know who Jimmy was referring to when he was calling him Armin. Which one was Armin?
It's a combination.
Jimmy's got his own name. Did you see what happened? That Marcus Haley tore his quad, his other leg?
No.
Huh?
Marcus Haley tore his quad I think it was 15 years ago, or 10, maybe 12 years ago. And I just saw the other day, and he tore the other one. He was trying to dunk a basketball, he said.
See that? As soon as you start doing unbodybuilder stuff, you get hurt.
It's the worst injury because the rehab is the worst on that thing, man.
That looks like when I tore my patellar tendon. It looks the same scar.
It's the same surgery essentially, except
I'm going to get my PRP in my tendon here at 10 o'clock.
Oh, really? What's wrong with your arm?
I got that little torn tendon in there.
Oh, it's not going to do
it. Do you know that I've got a bottle of it here now? Do you recommend it? Someone gave it to me, that BPC 157 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that works.
I've had it there for a while, but now if you take it, do you put it where the injury is, or you can just put it anywhere?
You can put it anywhere, but you might as well put it where the injury is. I mean, I guess you'd get a higher concentration of it there. I was injecting it right under the skin over my ankle when I had the ankle fusion done, and I think literally when I would take it, like an hour later, it would feel better, that quickly. I
got to get that done at 10. In 45 minutes, I got to take the dog to the vet because I was playing with the dog yesterday. Because he's so big, he's running around. His front claw got caught on something. He can rip out half out, bloody bleeding. So, vet visit this morning.
Your dog got very big, Lee. Those things are monsters. I didn't know they got that big. Those dogs.
What breed are they?
American Staffy.
Oh, those are the awesome dogs, man.
I think there's a video on my Instagram of him lately.
Staffordshire Terrier.
And mine's the male's probably close to 70 kilos now.
Have you been giving him Deca?
No. They fed Lamita to get chicken breast.
I was going to say, Lee doesn't even take Deca. He's going to get the dog Deca.
Well, Lee hates taking Deca.
Look at the size of these guys.
Wow.
That's the girl and the boy. That's the boy there, but his neck's like the size of my leg.
Are you going to breed these things?
No, I got her desexed already, but I left him. He's not desexed yet because they said at least let the male go 2 years for his bones and all that to properly grow, and that's.
Is he humping everything in sight?
No.
Mm-hmm. What do you feed him? Chicken nuggets?
Probably there I was, yeah. That's a treat. That's why they're big, Dave. We always said McDonald's was anabolic.
If Jimmy were there, he'd be eating hot dogs with them probably. So
he would be lined up as the third one on the ground, his knees.
But Jimmy wouldn't be as calm. He'd be all right.
Yeah, the dog would be better behaved.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jimmy would be humping everything.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Valentino certainly would. That's for sure.
Did you say Jimmy was going? Was it this week to get his colonoscopy, or is he finally going?
I don't know. He never gave us the results of the stool sample that he did. So, which means probably something is not turning out right. You know.
No, the opposite. It means there's nothing wrong with him.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, well, of course. His issues are only
John, he didn't do it right. He might not have done it right. They might have to do it again.
But he did say he was going to the VA this week on the show yesterday, didn't he?
He did say that. Yeah, I don't know what for.
He goes to the VA every 3 days. What are you talking about? It's on his route.
They got that facial recognition camera that when he walks through the door, the alarm starts going off.
Now, speaking of that, I saw this documentary yesterday on PBS. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually admitting that I watch PBS sometimes. Ooh. But it showed that China has completely usurped the credit card in favor of facial recognition. So when you go to buy something at a kiosk, which has replaced people, so you go to McDonald's, you order your food through a kiosk. The kiosk takes a picture of your face. From your facial recognition software, it can access your bank account.
Wow.
Deduct the money. So you don't even have to use a credit card.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or it sounds almost scary, right?
Well, you can wipe out your whole bank account if they want to.
Or if you go to McDonald's, do a big order and then drag your mate across and put his face in front of the camera.
So cut your guy's head off and just stick it in the machine.
I saw a great movie. It's not like, great in the sense that it's going to win an Academy Award, but if you're in the mood to like beat the shit out of someone, or like you just want to like feel some good masculine energy, watch The Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington.
That was a good one.
Oh, you saw it, Lee? Yeah, it's on Netflix. It was great. Denzel is so even in predictable movies, Denzel's so good that it doesn't even matter,
But that movie, when it started, when I started watching it, because it starts with so much action, I thought, fuck, have I skipped halfway through the movie or something? Because
exactly.
It's almost like you're in halfway through the movie because the action just starts. I'm like, did I miss the beginning or is this the beginning?
It would start
like, gets his watch and he goes, starts the stopwatch.
Yeah. You don't know what's going on originally when it first starts. You're very confused at first. Very good. It took place in Sicily.
For one man body count, he did a good body count in that one.
Yeah. Well, I liked it because it was in Sicily, and it was while I was watching, I'm like, man, I really want to go there and visit this place, man.
And as I'm watching and you're watching all these people get killed, I'm thinking, the leader, the main guy, I'm thinking his ego is that big. Rather than just let it go, he had to keep going. It's like, seeing all your men getting killed, mate. It's like you might as well just say,
he's like, I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave right now. You remember when he says that? The guy's like, you're giving me the opportunity? Because that's right. It's a good movie. I've been going to Qdoba. You know what Qdoba is? It's like Chipotle.
Oh, okay.
You could get like a bowl, they put rice and beans and chicken and so when I go to these places, John, I always avoid onions because for some reason, if I eat a raw onion, even though it tastes great, I could taste it on my breath and I smell like onions. I could eat one little sliver of it and it'll destroy me for the rest of the day. I'm going to be like a stinking onion smell.
So another thing we have in common.
Yeah. Every time you burp, you always like.
It's not even that. It just comes out of my pores, Lee.
It just doesn't go away. The taste keeps on tasting.
How is it that strong in my body? I don't understand it. But
there used to be a guy at the gym like that. He used to eat onions and garlic, and I swear to God, every time he sweats, that's all you could smell.
His name was Steve Blackman.
I don't ever eat garlic because I know the garlic does the same thing to me. So the onions. So when I order stuff like at that place, I'm like, I don't want any of the salsa. I don't do anything with onion. So I usually get a scoop of guacamole. For some reason today, they loaded the guacamole up with onions, and I'm eating. And you can't. It's camouflage. This you don't know. You just crunch it. I figured it's like a cucumber or something. And man, I stunk so bad after that. I went into the bank. I was embarrassed to actually talk to the bank teller. It was so stinky. I don't know.
Some people, there's some kind of connection between the raw onions and your metabolism because Billy Smith used to ask that question all the time when he was doing his nutrition analysis. He would say, "You like raw onions?" And there was, I don't know exactly what he was getting at, but there are people. My mother-in-law could eat a raw onion like an apple. She loves them. I cannot even be in the same room.
When I was younger, I used to go to school, and one of my favorite things was just fresh bread with butter raw onion and salt. I used to have onion
Oh
sandwich.
my God. Holy mackerel. It's probably medicinal. It's probably like anti-cancer to have the onions. I know the garlic is very good for your immune system, but
well, when Bleckman found that out, that was like we're out to dinner and he's got these little dishes on the table, like these little ramekins, right? And it looked like it was chopped up garlic, but it looked like something like a spread you would put on olive empanada or something, you know. And he's got this butter knife and he's got this big dollop of raw onion and he spreads it on this little tiny crust of bread. And he's going, these recent studies show that there's more antioxidants by the crust of the bread and not in the middle. And then he's smearing the fucking garlic on there. And he sees this big bite of garlic and he's like, it aerates this blood.
And then, of course, the olive oil.
Right. The 2-3 dollops that 6 plates. They got to keep bringing more because they're definitely afraid of him that he won't there. And then the next day in the morning in the gym, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. He's doing bench presses, and I'm spotting him. It's like, holy shit. You're about to get your neck crushed. You better get this rep because I'm not getting close enough for you to pull this off. It was coming out of his pores, out of his skin.
That's what happens when you eat a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Isn't it weird how you can't smell it yourself?
Oh my God.
What?
Like when you have garlic yourself, you can't smell it yourself on your breath and that, but other people can. It's weird. It's like
when I eat onions, I can smell it on myself. I can't smell the garlic, but I can smell the onions on myself.
I'm like that though with coffee. Sometimes when I have coffee, I really hate that stale coffee breath taste. And
right.
Just
you got to chew gum after that. Yeah, you can't. I love that. There's nothing worse than coffee and cigarette breath together. That's the worst.
One of my last motorcycle wrecks, I was using oxycodone, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And I think after 3 or 4 days of those things, I could taste it on my skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like I licked my for some reason licked my.
When I was hooked on them, I had like I never licked my skin, but I'd start getting like a metallic-y metal taste sort of thing. It was like like a metal. Yeah, so as if like you had like a quarter and you're like licking a quarter or something. You get that sort of metallic. Yeah.
Which can't be good for you. There's no way that can be good for you.
What? Oh, they Big Pharma said Oxycontin is non-addictive. It's good for you. It's slow released in the system.
Yeah, there you go.
And those heavy metals that are in the breast implants, perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cobalt, no problem. Body loves cobalt.
I actually learned something from Jim Mannion when I went to lunch with him the other day, but I never even thought about it because, we were talking about heavy metals and fish, and I was telling him how Bleckman, was the mercury and from the tuna he's eating, and then Jason Hutt was eating like sea bass, and he got mercury poisoning from that. I said the only thing that's safe is salmon. He goes, it isn't. He goes because if you eat if I make it at home, I eat wild salmon. But I guess the farm-raised salmon has mercury, and I didn't even think about that. So if you go to
there's terrible shit in farm-raised salmon.
Yeah, so if you go to like restaurants, the restaurants only serve the farm-raised salmon. That's what they get. And the farm-raised tastes good because it's softer, because it probably has more fat in it. And so that evidently I didn't realize can have mercury, the farm-raised.
You want to know something? You want to hear something even more weird is that farm-raised salmon is higher in omega-6 than it is in omega-3.
Oh, absolutely it is because they feed
them corn.
Yeah.
Right.
It ruins the whole health profile of it.
This is why
they feed the cows corn instead of grass, and so
this is why I only stick the steroid-loaded cattle and chickens.
I had this talk with Jason Hutt because Jason got very, very mercury poisoned from sea bass. He thought he was eating healthy. He was eating it like 3 times a day. He's like, you know what? I said, what did you do? Like after you found out about that? He goes, you know what I eat? I eat chicken nuggets. The same chicken nuggets my kids eat. He goes, and I'm perfectly healthy from that. I said, it's disgusting, but you know what? It's probably safer to eat McDonald's than it is to.
It probably is when you take right.
You can't even eat fish anymore. Nothing's healthy anymore for you.
If you get that much mercury in your system, Can you tell the temperature a lot better?
Yeah, maybe.
You just press your head up against the glass.
You walk around and then it's just like, oh, I think it's 35 degrees.
Right,
I can feel the mercury rising.
I got my heavy metals tested once at Quest Diagnostics, but then, and they were fine. But, the problem is that if you store the mercury, like in your brain or your liver or your kidneys or your heart, that when you do blood work, you're not going to see it. So you almost have to do like what's called a challenge test. You have to give yourself a chelating agent that pulls the stuff out of your tissues and then do the blood work. That's how Jason found out of it his.
Wow.
So you might think you're clear, but you might not be. There's so many ways to die nowadays because we're being poisoned by everything that it's like you could become a complete hypochondriac, if you if you let yourself. Now the whole thing is parasites. You see, that's everyone's saying about everyone's got parasites now.
Oh, Mexico, that's totally common.
I'm not talking about the parasites you get from getting food poisoning. I'm saying they're saying everyone has parasites in them. And if your parasite load gets too high, you get cancer because your immune system breaks down.
It's obviously evident in the food supply, because I noticed this when I go out of the country. When I was in the last couple of years, I was in Egypt, Peru, Portugal, and the food there tastes different. It tastes better, because they don't farm it like they do here. It's like more like natural there.
Natural,
right.
When I go to Brazil,
you can taste the difference.
It's like I was just in Italy and Brazil and all those places. The vegetables, the fruit, 100 times better. If I grow it at home, it tastes like I actually have a friend, I'm not sure I told you before, he drives like trucks for the main grocery stores. Yeah. And when they go to pick up like the big load of produce, whatever, there's a whole thing of freezers, and they're being told you can't open these freezer doors until such and such a time because they've got fruit in there like bananas and apples that have been there 6 months or a year. Just in the refrigerated sec. That's why now I get a bunch of bananas. I get them home. They're like green and yellow. 2 days they're brown. They got no taste to them. Like all the stuff you get now doesn't taste like it used to taste.
Well, because they want you to have fruit year round, so they have to prevent it from ripening. And then when it's time, they hit it with ethylene gas.
Yeah, but it's got no taste.
Ripens it. Yeah.
But it's even like I do it with flowers now. Remember, you could go into a florist shop and the smell would be overpowering, or you buy your mum a bunch of flowers. You'd walk into the house, you could smell the flowers as soon as you walked in. Yeah. Now even flowers, you get a rose, you're like,
it's true. It's true.
A rose ain't a rose anymore.
A rose by any other name.
Yeah.
I can't, and there's certain foods now I can't even eat anymore. Like Lee brought up bananas. In Mexico, I had a banana tree right outside I could reach the bananas from my balcony. Okay. So when you pick a ripe banana off the tree and eat that, there is no way that you can eat a banana out of the grocery store after that.
I have a banana tree in my yard. I know exactly what you mean.
I know. It's almost like the ones from the grocery store are fake, like a wax carbon copy almost. It's like,
It's like eat a blueberry off a blueberry bush, John.
That's the same
blueberry
thing.
Off a blueberry bush, or a strawberry off a strawberry plant.
How about a tomato off the vine in the garden versus a tomato from the store?
You know what? Cucumber. There's no such thing as a good cucumber in the supermarket. I'm telling you, a cucumber you grow in your yard. Taste. It's like a different.
Even carrots. You grow carrots at home and get carrots from the supermarket. Totally different.
Yeah. But carrots are roots, so sometimes they can hold their flavor, but. Yeah. I have not gotten a cucumber from a supermarket that even comes close to what I grow in my yard. In a flower box,
If you grow sweet corn at home and compare that to the supermarket sweet corn.
Sure.
That's huge. But with the cucumbers, it's funny because I grew them this last year and they're right out in the baking sun. You take a cucumber, you rub the prickles off of it, you run it under water, you eat it, and it's like 20 degrees cooler than the air outside.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So good.
I like the homegrown cucumbers so much that I would actually pay you to put them in a box and mail them to me. That's because you can't get a cucumber. You would think in Florida you get a cucumber that tastes good. They're all these ones that they grow in greenhouses now. They're like these long, thin ones with like lines down them.
They're wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. I tell you what's lost its taste too now is watermelon. Sometimes you buy watermelon and it's just no flavor. I remember when I was young.
Did you see the exploding watermelons they had this year?
What one?
watermelons, and I saw it happen in our supermarkets down here in Florida. They were exploding. Like you would actually look in the thing, and there was all these watermelons, and they just out of nowhere.
Have you seen the yellow ones now, like the bright yellow watermelon? You cut it open and it's yellow.
I think there was bacteria in there, like there was building up methylene gas or something like that, and they just blew up.
I remember the watermelons blowing up in that movie, getting shot up in that movie, Mr. Majestic, with Charles Bronson.
Yes, I was going to say that's an old one. It was oldie but a goodie.
It was like that big whale they had on the truck that got washed up on the beach in Taiwan or something, and it's in the middle of the city on the back of the truck, and it explodes.
Yeah.
It did?
Well, that would have been, everyone would have been getting their bowls and that out getting dinner. That would have been a delicacy.
It was disgusting, because it's all that rotting, decomposing guts in there that builds up all the pressure, and then kaboom.
I've seen them in the ocean do that too. There was one in the ocean, a big whale, and it was all bloated, and this shark come in the bite, and it went bam.
I mentioned on, I forget what show it was. I think it was on Heavy Muscle Radio this past week. I mentioned that, I said, we were talking about Nick Walker, and we talked about the Arnold Classic, how, what's his name? Andrew Jack dropped out. And Hadi Chupin might not get a visa. So I said, Nick Walker, because he's looking really good. Look at this picture.
I know. I've seen him post pictures. I'm like, he said, I was watching him on.
Holy shit.
It looks great, right?
On the podcast with Guy, and somebody asked him, he goes, I don't post not recent pictures. So if that's, like I said, if that's a recent one, I could see him doing the last minute, hey, I'm in, boom.
That's what I said. I said, don't be surprised if he drops it. And then I think someone from their show posted something like, if you watch the show, you'd know that he's not doing it or something like that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't he? It's $300,000 to win for the win.
Yeah.
Who's going to beat him? I mean, Sampson is the only guy who could potentially beat him. I mean, even if he came in second, what's second place? 150 grand?
Yeah.
It's like a stop weekend for a payday. It's like
I know.
It'd be a good battle because like to me, like Nick's got the freak factor and Samson's got the symmetry size. But even for his size, Nick has great symmetry. But I think Nick will topple Sampson with his conditioning. So it's going to be, if he does go in it would be one of those could go either way.
He can win. Yeah, he can definitely win. Come on.
He could go in at 90 or 95% and still win and not tax himself to the degree where it would affect his Olympia.
No. He's a freak.
Total freak. He
should definitely take advantage of it. I mean, Cutler won 3 Arnolds before he decided to focus exclusively on the Olympia.
Yep.
I mean,
he could easily, without getting in 100% shape, win the Arnold.
But he's always in 100% shape.
But my point is, if he's not doing it because he doesn't want to jeopardize his Olympia pursuit, I don't think it would be an issue. I just think he could just veer off the track for a week and dial in, pick up one or two first or second place payday easy. And then get right back
the whole year after that, right?
Make it like you're getting paid $300,000 for a big guest posing.
It's pretty much what it would be, Lee. That's exactly how it would be.
And the weird thing is, he doesn't really need to get any bigger. You know what I mean? So it's not like he needs more muscle on his body.
He could just sidestep. He could spend a week or two getting ready for the Arnold. That's all he would need.
Yeah,
and then get right back on the train.
Yeah, I agree.
300 grand richer.
Makes sense to me.
There's a few people dropping out, weren't there? Even in a few different classes, I saw a few people drop out due to, some said family, and then I saw a couple more said due to health reasons and stuff. So
everybody at RxMuscle is so pro Nick Walker. I'm really surprised he doesn't show up here every now and then for some mentoring. From us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, we would gladly give it to him. We all like him, so he could get a lot of benefit from our wizened old years.
I was looking at pictures of Hadi Chupin, and
wait, photoshopped ones or real ones?
I'm assuming this is real. I'm assuming this is real. But
first of all, who's the leprechaun looking out from behind him?
I think that's his son, right?
The thing I noticed there was the eyebrow.
Yeah, the one but the point I was gonna make, if there was ever a villain, this guy should be in movies as like the villain. He's the scariest guy I've ever seen, right? I mean, he absolutely would be a great villain in any movie,
Like one of those villains, like a villain in James Bond. Like remember the guy with the hat? The ones that just they don't talk. They just stand there and kill people. You don't have to have any lines.
Or if he can learn even broken English, that's all he needs to speak the lines. People would be petrified of this guy. I'm telling you.
Lines like Dolph Lundgren from Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies.
That's how. That's exactly the thing.
Remember Brutus from Popeye?
Yeah.
That's Brutus right there.
He could. I'm telling you, he'd be
Popeye's
a great
nemesis.
Great. And you know what? The whole shtick about a Mr. Olympia would be even a better reason to get him in there. I would, matter of fact, I'd go as far as to put him in like a new Terminator movie as a Terminator. And Arnold should have to, kill this guy. It would be great. Or like, Terminator versus Terminator type of thing. I remember when who was in that? Who did he have to fight? That was a different movie. Remember that the Israeli guy he fought. He was a bodybuilder. What was his name? In True Lies, was it?
Yeah.
What was that guy? He used to train at Gold's Venice, didn't he?
I can't remember his name. I remember there was a scene that they deleted from actually Red Heat, because remember, in Red Heat he had the big fight scenes there,
right?
But there was actually I'm pretty sure I remember correctly. There's an article, and when I spoke to him when I did the Universe back in '89. There was a scene with him and Marlon Darton. They were meant to have a fight, but because Marlon Darton looked so much bigger and huge and had the massive arms, they deleted the scene.
Oh, is that real? Is that true?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was true.
That would have been
fun. Marlon Darton was a huge guy back in the day with arms and that.
But that's what you want to see. You want to see the underdog. Like Stallone always fought guys that were bigger than him in the movies. Purposely.
Right. You want the underdog to win.
Yeah.
Jason Statham does the same thing.
I think Arnold always wanted to be the big guy in the movie. That's why, Arnold wanted to be the huge guy in the movie. But
because Arnold,
I'd like to see Arnold now. Like Arnold come back, like as aren't they doing another Terminator? I think.
I heard they were. Yeah.
Was he going to be the Terminator in the nursing home?
Did he blow himself up in the last one already? I don't remember.
Like the Terminator in Lord Xavier's wheelchair that just moved around.
Exactly.
Like who was it? It was remember Davros, the leader of the Daleks. He was in like one of those.
Oh boy.
John Connor will be have gray hair,
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. We're gonna wrap this up.
I got 20 minutes to get the dog in the car and get it to the vet.
I know. I didn't want to wait till the last minute.
I love taking the dog in there too because he's so big. You go in there, people got their little dogs, and they go, "Is that one of those?" And my dog loves other dogs. If there's a little dog, my dog just lays down on their level on his belly, and he gets all excited. As soon as he walks in and they see his head and neck, they're like, "Oh no, it's one of those killer dogs." Then they look at me with the tattoos. They're like, "Oh, here we go, fucking bike, killer dog."
When I always had cats my whole life, and then I got my two little dogs, and I became a dog person after that. I still had a cat, but I always was more of a dog person. And then now I'm kind of migrating back to the cats because my dogs passed. Are you now like a dog person? Because you have a lot of cats in your house too.
No, I still got 6 cats and 2 dogs.
No, I know you do, but I'm saying, are you becoming more of a dog person? Do you feel like?
No, I've always had dogs, even in America. At one stage, when I was living in Lancaster and had the 2 acres, I had 12 dogs.
Wait, hold on. When were you in Lancaster?
I lived in Lancaster for like a couple of years when I was out in California.
When was that? Oh, Lancaster, California. I thought you meant Pennsylvania. Oh.
No. What do you think? I'm going Amish?
Yeah, I went to college there. I thought you I got confused for a second. I said, when was Lee in Lancaster?
In the high desert.
Can you imagine Lee living in the Amish country, John? They'd kick him out in like 3 seconds. He'd be out of there.
Yeah. Actually, I think they would take to leave quite handily. Like the first barn raising, that Lee would be a superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might where
I think Lee would flourish is like where are the polygamists? Where do they live?
The Mormons. Come on, you wankers. Let's all get together.
Lee would be a good Mormon.
I would.
If you lived in that community, would you want like more than one wife? Would you have like 3 wives, like those sister wives program?
No, Why that talking? Going back to the beginning of the show of heaven and hell. Why would you want three wives? That would be like purgatory. That would be.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know why anyone would want to have 3 wives. Like it just sounds like very complicated.
One is plenty. I always look at it that way.
Yeah, it sounds way, way, way too complicated.
Yeah, my God. I said that you would have wished that on your worst enemy. Come on.
Well, there's something to be said for competition because they would compete with each other. So this dawned on Max the other day because he moved to wherever he's living now. So and anyway, the ratio there is 4-1. Okay, so he's going to target rich environment. Wow. So he said, we were talking about it, and when I said, your ratio there is 4-1, and he goes, I said, so the women are naturally going to get really aggressive, and you could see the light bulb go on, and he's like, oh yeah, that explains it.
Where is he?
Where the hell is he? It's not Charlotte.
Oh, he's close.
Yeah, he's close. I'll think of it in a second. But
that's funny.
He's close. But yeah, so it's a 4-1 ratio, and now it's and he's working at a bar, being a bartender, and
right.
He's noticing the bottle girls are being very attentive to him.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Does he work out, John?
He does jujitsu.
Oh, okay.
He's in really good shape. He's tall, but he's very, very lean. Very,
How tall is he?
He's probably like 6'2".
Oh, really? I didn't know he was that tall. Wow.
Same height as me. Same height as me.
No, you're 5'2".
Oh. Well, I got to go run and get my dog in the car.
All right, we're gonna wrap up anyway.
Hopefully not tear my shoulder getting him in the car.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. And guys, thank you once again for joining us for another installment of the Dave Palumbo Podcast. We'll see you next week.